My dad pretended not to know me in front of his new family. So I exposed his secret life to his wife right at the dinner table. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button so you won't miss more interesting stories. My name is Carter, and for 15 years, I have wondered what I would say to my father if I ever saw him again. I rehearsed the speeches in the shower. I wrote angry letters that I burned in the sink. I imagined screaming at him, or punching him, or maybe just crying and asking why I wasn't good enough. My father, whose name is, or was, Richard, left my mother and me when I was 10 years old. He didn't just leave. He vanished. He went out for a pack of cigarettes on a Tuesday evening and never came back. He emptied the bank account, took the car, and left us with 3 months of unpaid rent. My mother was a saint, but she was fragile. The abandonment broke her. We lost the apartment. We spent a year bouncing between shelters and my aunt's couch. My mother worked herself into an early grave trying to provide for me. She scrubbed floors, waited tables, and did laundry for rich people until her heart gave out. She died when I was 19. I was left with nothing but a box of her old papers and a burning, white-hot hatred for the man who destroyed her. I survived. I didn't go to college because I couldn't afford it. Instead, I worked my way up in the hospitality industry. I started as a dishwasher, then a prep cook, then a waiter. I had a knack for service. I knew how to be invisible, how to anticipate needs, and how to handle high-pressure situations. By the time I was 25, I was working for a high-end catering company called The Gilded Plate. We serviced the ultra-wealthy in the city. I served champagne to senators, carved turkeys for tech billionaires, and poured wine for celebrities. I was good at my job. I was professional. I was a ghost in a tuxedo. Last Saturday was supposed to be just another gig. My boss, Marcus, called me in the morning. "Carter, I need you on the head table tonight," he said. "It's a private dinner party at the Kensington estate. Very exclusive. The hostess is Cynthia Kensington, the heiress to the Kensington steel fortune. It's her husband's 50th birthday. They requested our best server." "I'm on it," I said. I arrived at the estate at 4 p.m. to set up. The house was more like a castle. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, art on the walls that cost more than my entire lifetime of earnings. I was in the kitchen polishing silverware when the hostess, Cynthia, walked in. She was a beautiful woman in her late 40s, elegant and kind. "Thank you so much for being here," she said, checking the flower arrangements. "I want everything to be perfect for William. He's had such a stressful year with the business merger. This birthday means the world to him. We will make sure it's flawless, Mrs. Kensington, I promised. Please, call me Cynthia," she smiled. "William should be down in a minute to check the wine." I went back to polishing. A few minutes later, the kitchen door swung open. A man walked in. He was wearing a bespoke suit that probably cost $10,000. He had graying hair, a tan, and a confident swagger. "Cynthia, darling, have the 1995 Bordeaux been decanted?" he boomed. I froze. I dropped the silver fork I was holding. It clattered loudly on the granite countertop. The voice. I would know that voice anywhere. It was the voice that used to read me bedtime stories. It was the voice that promised me we would go fishing next weekend for 3 years in a row. It was the voice that yelled at my mother about money before storming out the door forever. I slowly looked up. It was him. It was Richard, my father. He looked older, richer, and happier. But it was him. He had the same nose, the same eyes, the same small scar on his chin from a childhood bike accident. He looked at me. He saw the shock on my face. For a second, I saw recognition in his eyes. I saw a flash of panic. "Dad," I whispered. The word just slipped out. I hadn't said it in 15 years. Cynthia was in the other room, so she didn't hear me. But he did. He walked over to me. He got right in my face. I thought he was going to hug me. I thought he was going to apologize. I thought he was going to explain where he had been. Instead, his eyes turned into cold, hard stones. "I beg your pardon," he said, his voice dripping with arrogance. "Do I know you?" "It's me," I stammered. "Carter, your son." He let out a short, cruel laugh. "I think you have me confused with someone else, young man. My name is William. I don't have a son named Carter. And I certainly don't have a son who works as a servant." I felt like he had slapped me. "Dad, stop. You left us. You left Mom. She died. She's dead. And you're here living in a castle?" He grabbed my arm. His grip was painful. "Listen to me, you little rat," he hissed, his voice low and menacing. "I don't know who you think I am, but you are mistaken. I have been William Kensington for 20 years. I have a wife, and I have 2 beautiful children who are actually successful. If you say one word, one single word, to upset my wife or ruin my night, I will have you arrested for harassment. I will destroy you. Do you understand? You're pretending not to know me?" I asked, tears stinging my eyes. "I'm your flesh and blood. You are the help," he sneered. "Now, get back to work. And if you spill the wine, I'll have you fired." He shoved me back toward the sink and walked out of the kitchen, adjusting his cufflinks. I stood there, shaking. I was hyperventilating. My own father. He looked me in the eye and called me a rat. He denied my existence to my face. He erased me. I wanted to run. I wanted to quit right there and walk home. But then, the anger came. It wasn't the hot, explosive anger of my teenage years. It was a cold, calculating, adult rage. He wanted to play William Kensington? He wanted to pretend his past didn't exist? Fine. I would help him with that. I took a deep breath. I went to the staff locker room. I pulled out my phone. I needed proof. I knew he was Richard, but I needed to prove that William was a lie. I called my aunt. She was the keeper of the family's secrets. "Aunt Jenna," I said, keeping my voice low, "I need you to send me a picture of Dad's old driver's license. The one Mom kept in the box, and the marriage certificate, and the police report from when he stole the money." "Carter," she asked, worried. "Why? What's wrong?" "I found him," I said. "Just send it. Now. Please." She heard the desperation in my voice. "Okay, give me 5 minutes." While I waited, I did a quick Google search on William Kensington. According to the society pages, William Kensington was a self-made investor who married Cynthia 15 years ago. 15 years ago. That was the same year he left us. He didn't leave us and then meet Cynthia. He left us for Cynthia. He must have met her, scammed her, and ran away to start a new life with a fake name. My phone buzzed. Aunt Jenna came through. She sent photos of everything. 1. His old ID with the name Richard Miller. 2. My birth certificate listing Richard Miller as my father. 3. Their marriage certificate. 4. And the kicker, a copy of a warrant for his arrest for check fraud from 15 years ago. He hadn't just left, he was running from the law. And one more thing. I looked at the date on his marriage certificate to Cynthia, which I found in a wedding announcement online, and the date on my parents' marriage certificate. He never divorced my mother. He was a bigamist. His marriage to Cynthia was fake. It was void, which meant he had no legal claim to her fortune. I smiled. It was a terrifying smile. I went back into the kitchen. I adjusted my bow tie. I picked up the silver tray with the first course, lobster bisque. The dinner party had begun. There were 12 people at the table. Cynthia, William, their 2 teenage kids, my half-siblings, apparently, and various business associates. I walked into the dining room. The room was filled with laughter. William was sitting at the head of the table, holding a glass of wine, telling a story. So I told the guy, "If you can't handle the pressure, get out of the kitchen," he laughed. The guests chuckled politely. I placed the soup in front of him. He didn't look at me. He acted like I was a piece of furniture. I served the whole table. I went back to the kitchen. I waited. The second course. Salad. I served it. He ignored me again. The third course. The main entree. Filet mignon. This was it. I walked out with the large silver platter. But instead of steak, I had something else on the tray. I walked up to the head of the table. William was deep in conversation with a banker about integrity in business. "Excuse me, sir," I said loud enough to cut through the chatter. The table went quiet. William looked up, annoyed. "What is it?" "I didn't ask for anything. I have a special delivery for the birthday boy," I said. "Is it a gift from Cynthia?" he asked, his greed showing. "Something like that," I said. I placed the silver tray in front of him. I lifted the heavy metal dome cover. Sitting on the tray was not a steak. It was my phone, propped up against a glass, displaying the photo of his old driver's license with the name Richard Miller. Next to it was a printed copy, I used the printer in the staff office, of the arrest warrant. "What is this?" he asked, squinting. "That is a man named Richard Miller," I said, addressing the whole table. "He looks a lot like you, sir. In fact, he has the same scar on his chin." William turned pale. "This is ridiculous. Who let this lunatic in here?" "Cynthia, fire him." "Richard Miller," I continued, my voice steady and projecting like an actor on stage, "abandoned his wife and 10-year-old son 15 years ago. He emptied their bank account. He left them to starve. His wife died working herself to death to pay his debts. Cynthia looked confused. Carter, what are you doing? I'm introducing you to your husband, Mrs. Kensington, I said. Because his name isn't William. Get out, my dad screamed. He stood up, knocking his chair over. Security. Get this trash out of my house. Sit down, Richard. I yelled. The authority in my voice shocked everyone. Even him. He froze. I am not trash, I said. I am the son you just claimed not to know in the kitchen. I am Carter Miller. And I have proof. I looked at Cynthia. She was trembling. Cynthia, I said gently. Did he tell you he was a widower? Or that he had no family? He said his first wife died in a car crash before he met me. Cynthia whispered. My mother died 4 years ago, I said. Which means when he married you 15 years ago, he was still married to her. He never divorced her. I checked the records an hour ago. A gasp went around the table. The business associates were exchanging horrified looks. That makes him a bigamist, I said. And it makes your marriage to him legally void. He isn't your husband. He's a con man who has been living off your fortune for a decade and a half. Lies, my dad shouted. He grabbed a steak knife. I'll kill you. William, stop. Cynthia screamed. He's lying. Dad yelled, his eyes wild. I don't know him. He's a stalker. Then explain this, I said. I pulled a folded piece of paper from my pocket. It was the only physical thing I had on me. A small, battered photograph of me and him fishing when I was 7. I kept it in my wallet as a reminder of what a lie looked like. I slid the photo across the table to Cynthia. She picked it up. She looked at the man in the photo, younger, but undeniably him, holding a little boy who looked exactly like I did. That's you, Cynthia whispered, looking at my dad. Wearing the lucky fishing hat you still have in the garage. Cynthia, baby, listen. Dad started to sweat. It was a long time ago. I was a different man. I did it for us. I wanted to be worthy of you. You did it for the money, I said. You saw a rich woman, and you abandoned your family to play the role of a millionaire. And you know what the worst part is, Dad? He looked at me with pure hatred. If you had just acknowledged me, I said. If you had just looked at me in the kitchen and said hello, or I'm sorry, or even just asked how I was, I might have kept your secret. I might have walked away. But you looked me in the eye and treated me like garbage. You pretended I didn't exist. So now, you don't exist. What do you mean? He growled. I called the police before I served the soup, I said. They are interested in the outstanding warrant for Richard Miller. And I think Cynthia's lawyers will be interested in the fraud. Sirens wailed in the distance. They were getting louder. My dad's face crumbled. The arrogance vanished. He looked small. He looked like the coward who ran away for cigarettes. Carter, he pleaded, his voice cracking. Son, please, tell them it's a mistake. We can work this out. I can give you money. I can set you up. Just don't let them take me. I don't want your money, I said. I make my own money. Honestly, the police burst into the dining room. The staff had let them in. Richard Miller? An officer asked. My dad tried to run toward the patio doors. It was pathetic. He slipped on the polished marble floor and fell hard. The officers were on him in seconds. Cynthia, he screamed as they cuffed him. Help me. I love you. Cynthia stood up. She wiped her tears. She looked like a queen. Officer, she said coldly. Get this stranger out of my house. They dragged him away. He passed me on the way out. He looked at me one last time. You ruined my life, he spat. No, I said. I just served you what you ordered. The dinner party ended. The guests left in a hurry. I stayed behind to help clean up. I felt like I should. Cynthia came into the kitchen while I was packing up. She looked devastated, but strong. Carter, she said. I'm sorry, Cynthia, I said. I didn't want to hurt you. But you deserve to know. You saved me, she said. My lawyers tell me he was trying to liquidate some of my assets into an offshore account next week. If you hadn't spoken up, he might have run away again. She walked over and hugged me. It was the first time a parent figure had hugged me in years. He owes you, she said. And since he has nothing, and I technically owe him nothing, I want to make it right. You don't owe me anything, I said. I know, she said. But I want to. You're a good man, Carter. Unlike your father. Cynthia hired me. Not as a waiter. She owns a massive hospitality group. She hired me as a consultant for her restaurants. She gave me a salary that changed my life overnight. But the best part wasn't the job. The best part was the trial. I sat in the front row. I watched Richard Miller get sentenced to 10 years for fraud, bigamy, and embezzlement. When the judge asked if he had anything to say, he looked at me. He opened his mouth, then closed it. He finally realized that I wasn't invisible. I visited him once in prison. Just once. He was sitting behind the glass, wearing a gray jumpsuit that fit him poorly. "Why did you come?" he asked. "I just wanted to introduce myself," I said. "In case you forgot again." "I know who you are," he grumbled. "Good," I said. "My name is Carter, and I'm the man who ended your game." I walked out of that prison and into the sunlight. For the first time in 15 years, the ghost of my father didn't haunt me. He was just a number in a cell, and I was finally free.